that smile. Look at that smile. And for those that aren't necessarily watching this video, you can hear the smile coming out of the other side of the camera. Hi, Beth.
Hi, Jeremy.
Oh, hello.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hello. Oh, hello, Jeremy.
Beth, I know you. We've known each other for quite some time. You are a real life friend, someone who is a connector, a mom, so well versed in the marketing ecosystem. But who are you? Why are you here? Tell us who you are.
Who am I? We were just talking about this, that I am a true Jill of all trades.
You are.
Yeah. I mean, I've spent my career sort of getting experience in multiple facets of marketing, from promotions to media to brand management to partnerships. I've done training, I've done mentoring. It kind of has all made me into this sort of like uber integrated marketer. But aside from that, I'm also a mom. I serve on several charity boards. I
Tell us a couple of
volunteer.
those words.
So I just was elected to the board of the Ronald McDonald House Charities here in Chicago and Northwest Indiana. It is an organization that is personal and close to my heart. When my son was born, he was in the NICU, and we actually stayed in the Lurie Children's Ronald McDonald House. And I always said if there was one thing I was going to do and devote my time to, it was going to be that charity. I did also spend 10 years of my career working on the McDonald's business, so on the agency side. So it's kind of in my when I posted it on LinkedIn, people I worked with at McDonald's were like, "Oh, you've come full circle." Like, from McDonald's to McDonald's. Anyway, so that is one of the places that I devote a lot of my time to. And the other is my kids' school. They go to a private school, and I co-chair our fundraising committee at our school. So those are a couple of the places that I devote my time to.
It's wonderful that you devote so much time to so many great purposes and causes. How would you characterize your skill set that you're going to be sharing with the OhHello community?
I mean, I kind of just talked about it, sort of this sort of Jill of all trades. I started my career at an advertising agency working in client service and strategy. And somehow I worked on the Disney business, and I decided I loved entertainment. So I decided I was going to move to Los Angeles and find a job in entertainment. And I did. So I worked in corporate marketing and partnerships for Universal Studios. I worked at Disney for a little bit. I came back to Chicago after a couple years in LA, did what I knew best, was working on McDonald's on the agency side. I ran the global Happy Meal business at an agency. And then I left that job. It was amazing. I traveled all over the world, but it was a bit too much travel. I left that job and I started at Kraft in brand management.
That's when we met. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that is when we met. And that is a job that between Kraft and Mondelez, I stayed at for 11 years. And then I've kind of moved, even within Kraft, I moved around. I moved from brand management into the CRM team, and then I was we had a very small digital team. Then I ran digital globally for Mondelez. So I've kind of done a lot of different things in my career. When I started in digital, by default, no one understood the media or the creative. So when you start in digital, you would kind of have to do both things, which has allowed me to also spend a lot of my career working in the media space, both the online and offline, like traditional and new media, which isn't so new anymore. But, so I've kind of done, everything in the integrated marketing space, which I think is kind of unique.
And when you throw in working at several different huge tech and telecommunications and financial services companies and entertainment companies, you are certainly one of the Jill of all trades when it comes to being a marketing exec within our ecosystem.
Yeah, I guess you could say Jill or Jackie. Jackie, a Jackie of all trades. Let's do that.
All right, you're the Jackie of all trades, as you've got your stylish leather coat right now. Looks great.
Thank you.
What would you tell, being all stylish and having the amazing experience that you have, what would you tell your 25-year-old self? Beth today, what would you tell Beth a few years ago?
Well, there are a couple things. There's one thing I tell all of my mentees, my students, because I've also taught at Loyola, a university here in Chicago. And you know this, that when you just said earlier that I'm a connector, network, network, and network. I cannot emphasize it enough. It is, I find, like, really important in this day and age. And it's funny because I see people that I've come up through the business world with, now their kids are graduating from college and their dads are helping them by networking with their friends. Hey, can you talk to my daughter? She's going into marketing, I mean, and they're basically helping them network. But I find that that's really important. I would absolutely reinforce that to my 25-year-old self. And then also, you know what? No jobs forever. I think that it's, kind of take it, get what you need from it. And if you're not happy, move on. I always say you can do anything for a year, and you can. You gain experience from everything you do, whether it's a year or 11 years, and you can keep, like at craft. I kept reinventing myself. I was there for 11 years because I moved from, division to division. So I think those are a couple things. Oh, also, follow good people and good bosses, and be a good person and a good boss, and people will follow you. I think those are a couple things that I mean, that was like 3 things, but I would tell my 25-year-old self.
So in summation, network, network, and network.
Correct.
Be a good person. And reinventing yourself, knowing that you don't have, you want to do what intrinsically feels right. If you are able to still be challenged within a large organization like a craft or Mondelez, and being able to wear multiple hats over the years and to learn new things, to have new challenges, new adventures, different skill sets, amazing. But if you're not being challenged, GTFO, do something that's going to challenge you.
I mean, what's that crazy statistic that the average person changes careers and is like an average of 3 times during their lifetime? I don't know that I've changed careers. Like, I've stayed within the marketing space, but I've definitely done a lot of different stuff within that space.
Hence being a Jackie.
Yes.
Who are 3 of your mentors? And if not 3, 2, 5, 20, who are some folks that you've looked up to or have learned from that you want to contribute to?
Yeah. First of all, I do always tell people to kind of have your own personal board of directors. I just was giving this advice to someone I recently worked with who was, trying to, grow their career and grow themselves.
That term.
Yeah. I feel like they may not all be mentors to you, but they are definitely people you run stuff past, like sanity check. So I think that's important. But for my mentors, I honestly, my dad, I think your original mentors are your parents in some capacity, good or bad. But my dad always told me to do what makes me happy and not what makes the most money. It's great if they come together, but your career is long, and you want to make sure you're doing something that makes you truly happy, not just the thing that makes you the most money. I'd say my friend and former, colleague Sarah, she truly showed me that you can set boundaries but still be successful. So, to give an example, she's Orthodox Jewish, and there's some very specific boundaries you have to have, when you are Orthodox.
I'm vigorously nodding as someone who has come across some Orthodox Jewish folks in my life. Yes, absolutely.
And she's been incredibly successful. And I think I'm not Orthodox Jewish, but I can respect that, you have to set those boundaries. Like,
set of parameters that you live by. Yeah. What is Sarah's last name? Just to give her a shout.
Oh, Hofstetter. Sarah Hofstetter. She's amazing. And then my former colleague Kim Evanson, she's always good for a pep talk or a pep walk. We like to walk and talk, and bring me back to reality if something's going bad in my day, and I can give her a call. We don't live in the same city anymore, but I recently was in the city she was in, and I called her up and I said, "Hey, I need a pep walk." So
Love that.
yeah, it was amazing. She always has really great advice, things you didn't think of. Like if something's not going well, she's always the one who's like brings you back to reality. Like, listen, it's not you, you know? So I'd say she's also somebody I would consider a mentor for
Nice.
sure.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. It's amazing to hear about your father and then two former colleagues that have become close friends and part of components of the BOD to Beth Reilly.
Correct. I mean, there are more. I mean, I have plenty more, but I would say if I had to stop at 3, I mean, I have former bosses that I've worked for that I would go work for again in a second, who I also still keep in touch with. Andy Markowitz, I'm sure you know from my days at Kraft. I
remember the name for sure.
We text each other all the time,
Nice. It's great.
So.
It's great. Well, as OhHello, as you know this, you're going to be able to donate parts of the revenue that come in to a cause that's near and dear to your heart. Obviously, you had mentioned Ronald McDonald House Charities earlier in the conversation. Our goal is to have as many different charities as possible long term. But for now, as a solopreneur, as we're building up the platform and eventually creating teams, so on and so forth, we'll be able to put individual and more charities into it. But what are some charities that are near and dear to your heart that are available inside this platform?
Yeah. Actually, I need to look and remind myself, because of course I told you I looked through it and I was like, "Where's Ronald McDonald House?"
Okay, well, then just you had already don't stress about that then.
Oh, but I see St. Jude on here. I mean, that's amazing.
St. Jude, everybody. St. Jude.
Yep. St. Jude. I don't know. My dad has Parkinson's. I don't see Parkinson's on here, but I also the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation. I've had one too many friends who've had breast cancer over the years, so I think those two probably are the St. Jude and Susan G. Komen are probably the two where I would focus some of my money.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Beth. We're so excited to have you be on the OhHello platform with us. Thank you for being here today. Any other parting words as I start the outro music?
I mean, you and I talked about this earlier, but I'm first of all, I'm super excited. I think this is an amazing platform, and I'm excited to help people understand. Like, even if you've seen I've worked at a company before, to be able to give you a yay or nay on a company, or things to watch out for, just things to keep in mind as you're looking at companies, I think this platform will be amazing for that.
You rock. And since this likely won't be edited out, thanks for letting me just play around with the outro music a second ago.
Oh, first of all, the music, that's why my smile was so big at the beginning. I mean, who's not going to smile at the Charlie Brown?
Charlie Brown Jay-Z. Why not?
It's amazing.
All right, Beth. We appreciate you. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for watching. Oh, goodbye. Oh, hello. Thank you, Beth.
Oh, hello. Oh, goodbye. Thank you.